It's not on there. I'd like to call the May 26, 2026 Board of Education meeting to order. Mrs. Manili, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Walsh, roll call, please.
Mr. Armstrong? Mr. Caldwell?
Here.
Chairwoman Corsi? Mr. Mackey?
Here.
Mrs. Manili?
Here.
Mr. Marks?
Here.
Mr. Nettles?
He's here.
Oh,
but
he's here. Right, I knew you were
Yeah.
here. Mrs. Shaw? Ms. Yanaway?
Thank you. Mrs. Shaw.
Good evening, everyone. The South Windsor Public School promotes an engaging and dynamic culture of learning that prepares students to achieve their own individual excellence. Within an emotionally safe environment, educators will foster students' academic, social, and personal growth. Our students will demonstrate critical and creative thinking, self-direction, collaboration, adaptability, kindness, compassion, and civic responsibility. The South Windsor Public School graduate will possess a learner's mindset, exhibit resilience and social consciousness, and be empowered to participate in an ever-changing global society.
Thank you. Moving on to approval of minutes. Ms. Yanaway?
Yes, move to approve the minutes for the April 28th, 2026 meeting.
Thank you. Do I have a second? Second. We have a second discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Mr. Armstrong?
Move to approve the minutes of the May 19th special meeting.
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Abstain. Do we need to do a roll call or we're good? Okay, we're good. She's good. Communications. Dr. Carter, do you have anything for communications for us?
Yes, I hope the board will join me in congratulating Mrs. Lindsay McGinn on her appointment as Associate Principal at South Windsor High School, effective this July 1. Lindsay, currently a Social Studies teacher at South Windsor High School, previously served as a Social Studies Department Chair and a Social Studies teacher at Ellington High School. After a comprehensive search process, Lindsay emerged as the top candidate from a highly competitive applicant pool. Please join me in congratulating Lindsay, and I invite Mrs. McGinn to the podium.
Hit the button.
The one that has the speaking motion in front of it. I got you. Okay. So good evening. Thank you for having me, members of the board, and parents and families and students. This is so exciting. Hi, Sakai. I first want to just say thank you again, and as a proud resident and educator here in South Windsor, I've witnessed firsthand how this community carried a heavy heart during this winter school year, but I've also seen a tremendous amount of resilience and growth that has come out of that, and I'm very excited to join the administrative team in our building and help carry South Windsor students and staff forward. I am stepping into this role as a resident, completely aware of some of the challenges that South Windsor faces, but also having bore witness to the immense amount of successes that we've accomplished over the previous years, and I'm really optimistic to see where the future has us headed. I look forward to partnering with Joe and Anselma and Tara and Jess moving forward, and I am going to work diligently just to make sure that South Windsor High School remains a welcoming and dynamic workplace. Thank you.
Well, welcome, and we thank you for joining the team. Very lucky to have you. Student representatives.
Yeah. Okay, so to begin, for the Good News from Schools, at Eli Terry, 4th grader Kayla Army was awarded a Make a Change mini grant from the South Windsor Alliance for Families and South Windsor Youth and Family Services. With this grant, Kayla will create kindness boxes for all kindergarten classrooms in the district. Each box will include a book about kindness and a related activity for the students. At Orchard Hill, Ms. Gustafson and her 2nd grade class were awarded a Make a Change mini grant as well. Allison and her students wrote a grant proposal for a translation device that will help support communication with new Orchard Hill students who may speak a different language. They truly exemplify our Hawks expectations. At Philip R. Elementary Schools, on April 23rd, PRS hosted its annual reading night. During the school event, students were able to stuff a tiger mascot and engage in fun reading activities with teachers. Some teachers hosted a bookmark making session. Others did a read aloud, and we had 2 therapy dogs join us for the evening so students could read to the dogs. At Pleasant Valley Elementary School, Pleasant Valley welcomed the Read to Grow Literacy Foundation and its Book Mobile, which provided a wonderful experience for all kindergarten students to choose books for free. Grade 5 Girls on the Run successfully finished their mentoring program. The participants held a practice session at Nevers Park 2 weeks ago and completed the final run at the Cigna Center during Mother's Day weekend. In honor of National Poetry Month in April, PV held a friendly poetry competition. The event saw numerous submissions from both staff and students, and the winning pieces are now being showcased on the webzine for the Student Newspaper Club. At Timothy Edwards Middle School, Thames debaters traveled to Central Middle School in Greenwich on Saturday to compete in the final tournament of the Connecticut Middle School Debate League. Students earned several top honors, including a 4th-place finish in the Open Division, a 3rd-place Individual Speaker Award in the Championship Division among 90 competitors, and a 5th-place team finish in the Championship Division. On Saturday, May 2nd, a total of 19 students presented a total of 14 projects to various panels and judges at the annual Connecticut History Day contest at CCSU. Thames had 10 students and 7 projects advance to the national contest. This is the largest groups of students that they are sending on to nationals. At South Windsor High School, students recently competed at the 2026 Olympiad National Tournament, showcasing their hard work, their teamwork, and their dedication across a wide range of challenging STEM events. The team earned impressive results throughout the competition, highlighted by a top 5 finish in Codebusters. Their accomplishment reflects the continued strength of South Windsor High School science programs and the commitment of students and advisors alike. And Ms. McGinn has been named Associate Principal for the 2026-27 school year. Known for her leadership, commitment to students, and involvement in major school events and initiatives, students and staff alike describe Ms. McGinn as a respected educator, mentor, and role model, making her promotion an exciting new chapter for both her and South Windsor High School. And lastly, on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026, the Student Windsor Board of Education announced the recipients of the 2026 Eugene Polisi Service Awards. At a ceremony held at South Windsor High School, seniors Mehika Johish and Rithika were the 2026 recipients of the Student Award. The recipients were celebrated with a formal ceremony attended by their invited guests and school community. A reception with light refreshments followed the ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you. Does any board member have anything they'd like to mention?
Okay, just one quick question.
Go ahead,
Ms. Chamerka, excuse me. Can you give us just a quick update from capital projects on Wednesday? There's a few things from the Board of Ed that changed.
Sure. At the capital projects meeting, they were discussing the changes that are related to, there was a reduction made by the town council to the capital project funding for next year. What they did is they went through and they originally, the departments had offered up the first 2 projects that we had listed for next year. So every department had 1 or 2 projects that we were hoping to get funded for next year. At this point, the projects that will be funded are just through the number 1 projects. So for us, that's going to be the TE auditorium and lighting project for next year.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I just want to say that on behalf of the board, I'd like to wish all our spring sports that are starting their spring tournaments this week, in addition to all the concerts and everything that will be happening across the district, field day events and all the rest of our end-of-the-year festivities. A lot of planning and attention goes into making sure these end-of-the-year celebrations happen. So to everybody who has a part in that, we thank you and wish you good luck. I'd like to mention of a new tradition that our school district is beginning. I'm hoping that lasts for a long time. One that I think will be both meaningful and reflective of who we are as a community. We are launching what I have called a bookend march. And what I mean by that is it's an opportunity for our graduating seniors to return to the halls of their elementary schools, reconnecting with former teachers to inspire a new generation of students. We hope this becomes a lasting tradition where seniors can thank the educators who helped shape their journey, while young students are able to see what it is possible in their own future. Most importantly, I hope it reflects the support that South Windsor Public Schools provides for our students from start to finish, from the very first day of school to graduation. This should be happening in the next few days or weeks, so I just think that will be a great opportunity for our younger students to kind of see what seems like far away, but as parents, we know the time will go by fast, and they'll be graduating sooner than later. And the last thing I just wanted to say is, at our previous meeting, Dr. Carter recognized all the staff for our whole entire district for the important work that they do to support our schools and our community, and this board fully echoes that appreciation. That message is important to repeat because the work our employees do is not always fully seen, but it is always felt. We are truly grateful for your dedication, professionalism, and the care that you show our students each day through early mornings, late nights, extra help after class, and for quiet moments when no one is watching. May 4th through the 8th was Teacher Appreciation Week, and on behalf of this Board of Education, I want to extend our sincere gratitude to the educators of South Windsor Public Schools. Every day, our teachers are bringing patience, creativity, and commitment that goes far beyond the classroom. They build confidence, support families, and make lasting impact on our students' lives. We recognize that this work is not easy, and we are deeply appreciative of the way our educators continue to meet those challenges with professionalism and heart. Even on the difficult days, please know your impact is real and it is lasting. Although we celebrate you for more than just 1 week in May, again, on behalf of this board, we thank you for what you do for our students each and every day, not just that 1 week in May. And that being said, nobody else? Okay. Hearing from visitors. Is there anybody that would like to speak to the board tonight? When your turn comes to speak, please start by giving us your name and address. Just a reminder that this board does not respond to public comment. Each person should limit their comments to 3 minutes, and a total of amount of public comment will be limited to 15 minutes unless extended by the board. Just a reminder that there will be a second opportunity for public comment near the end of our meeting. Most importantly, this is your opportunity to be heard and for the board's time just to listen. Mrs. Walsh will keep track of the time, and she or I will let you know when you need to wrap up your comments. Is there anybody from the public that would like to speak? One more time. I think we're good. Thank you. All right. Consent and calendar, Ms. Manili.
I move the consent calendar.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Donations, Mr. Caldwell.
Move to approve the following donations. $585.60 to Philip R. Smith Elementary School from its PTO. $2,678 to Orchard Hill Elementary School from its PTO. And from the South Windsor Public Education Fund, $4,558.78 to Pleasant Valley Elementary School, and $3,074.64 to Timothy Edwards Middle School, Pleasant Valley Elementary School, and South Windsor High School.
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Dr. Carter, would you like to proceed with your first item on your report?
Yes, we're going to start with the preschool program presentation because we have some littles out there that are close to bedtime. So I will turn things over to Mrs. Peterson.
Thank you. Good evening, Vice Chair Mackey, Board of Ed members. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Steve Albrecht and the preschool staff, I think they're coming in a little bit, to the podium to give us a presentation on the first year of our brand-new preschool program at the high school.
Thank you, Mrs. Peterson, but for most of the people in the room tonight, I'm Mr. Steve. Mr. Mackey, Dr. Carter, members of the board, thank you for the opportunity to highlight the success of the Learning Center Preschool. Our Career and Technical Education Department has operated a part-time preschool at the high school campus since the late 1990s. In recent years, we saw an opportunity to expand and strengthen the program in ways that would benefit both preschool children and our high school students. Because our early childhood education teacher was balancing both classroom instruction and the daily operation of the preschool, students had fewer opportunities for deeper study and observation. At the same time, as the district continues building a pipeline of future educators, we believe the time was right to expand to a full-day preschool model for this year. Excuse me. This year, we appointed a certified birth to kindergarten teacher, Mrs. Subramaniam, to lead the program as a full-day, tuition-based preschool, and it has thrived. Last spring, I was concerned that we might not fill all 15 seats. Instead, enrollment filled quickly, and we now have a growing waiting list for next year. When people think about preschool, they often think about preparing children for kindergarten, and our program certainly does that, but it does much more. Every day, our preschool classroom helps young children build confidence, independence, communication skills, creativity, and curiosity through hands-on learning and meaningful relationships. What makes this program especially unique is that it also serves as a learning lab for students in our high school early childhood education program, which are taught by Mrs. Dougherty. In these classrooms, our youngest learners are growing and developing, while our high school students are growing into future educators and child-centered professionals. Tonight, you'll hear from the people who bring this program to life every day. Joining me are our preschool teacher, Mrs. Arpitha Subramaniam, our early childhood education teacher and Educators Rising advisor, Mrs. Melissa Dougherty, out in the door, our para-educator, Mrs. Pagsanhan, music teacher, Mrs. Susan Leach, high school students Kira Diedelbaum and Royce Richards, and the children of our preschool, who, by the way, represent the South Windsor High School class of 2039. At this time, I'd like to invite Mrs. Subramaniam to share more about the preschool experience.
Thank you, Steve. All right, our preschool program is designed to support the whole child by focusing on social emotional growth and independence, communication, problem solving, and early academic skills. We believe children learn best through play, hands-on experience, meaningful relationships, and consistent routines that help them feel safe and confident. Throughout the day, the students participate in activities like art, literacy, science, music, movement, sensory play, and learning centers that encourage curiosity, creativity, and collaboration while building foundational skills. We also focus heavily on classroom community, helping children learn how to share ideas, cooperate, and build relationships with others. One of the most unique and valuable parts of our program is our preschool lab setting within the high school building. High school students work alongside the preschoolers each day by reading stories, supporting activities, and building meaningful connections with the children. The preschoolers truly look up to them as role models and special friends. This partnership creates a warm creativity and supportive learning environment while also giving high school students authentic hands-on experience in early childhood education. It is incredibly rewarding to watch both groups learn and grow throughout the day. One of the most rewarding parts of this program is watching our high school students build meaningful relationships with the preschoolers. I would like to invite Kira and Royce to share their experiences in our preschool classroom, the high school special friends.
Hi, my name is Kira Diedelbaum, and I'm a current junior here at South Windsor High School. So for my life, I've always grown up around teachers. My mom's a math teacher at Suffield Middle School, and my dad is a history teacher out in Watkinson School in West Hartford. So I always knew education was going to hold a strong place in my heart. And when I heard about Miss Dougherty's leadership class and childhood education classes, I knew it was perfect for someone like me. So last year I took our semester-long child development class where I got to learn about many of our special friends for the first time, such as Arthur, who's also here today. And this year I take the year-long leadership class where I got to know many more of our friends here today. And not only do I participate in the lab in class, but I also go many times outside of class myself. I have a free period during my period 7 class, and I take time out of my day helping Miss A and Miss P and all of our special friends have a great time during nap time. What this experience has shown me is that this experience has been great for me as someone who is looking towards education careers, and it's given me something no textbook can teach a student. It's really been such a special time for me. I've had a great time learning more about our students, such as Yog, whose birthday is tomorrow, or little Senna, who at the beginning of the year was a little quiet at first, but has grown out of her shell since and is always laughing whenever I'm around with her. So it's not just rewarding to learn more about education itself, it's rewarding to help these students grow and know that what I'm doing in the classroom and outside of the classroom is helpful towards their future. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ruth Richards. I am a South Windsor High School student and also a student ambassador for the club Ed Rising, Educators Rising. I've always wanted to be a teacher since I was little. I've been surrounded by a lot of teachers like Kira. My middle school teacher, Miss Garrido, she helped me be who I am today and everything like that. I took the class taught by Miss Doherty to kind of try to strengthen my understanding of children and how to take care of them and how to be a better leader myself. I've seen these kids learn and grow and change for the better. Like Kabir, we start off a little rocky, but we're best friends now, right? Yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of all of this, and I'm happy to be here in general. More about Educators Rising, it's a great club, and it's opened up so many different opportunities for me. In a few weeks, I'll be going to Oregon and presenting my children's book I made with Lana Kim, and I'm just super ready for that and to see where everything goes next. Yeah.
As Mrs. Subramaniam explained, our preschool students learn through the integration of art, music, movement, and storytelling. Recently, our children have been exploring themes of growth, gardens, and caring for the world around them. To close our presentation, they would like to share a song, Inch by Inch, with you, which they have been practicing with Mrs. Leach.
If any of the parents want to come up, we have no problem with them coming to film. So feel free to come on up. Do your thing. Right behind you. Go ahead.
Bye.
No.
Hi. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That's cute. Thank you. You need a flower. You need a flower. Well, Mr. Steve, I guess you're back up. Try to follow that.
Yeah, I don't know what to say except for thank you for allowing us to share a glimpse into our program and to thank you also for your continued support of what we're doing.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
I just have one thing.
Mr. Marks.
I just want to thank the students. I know they already left, but this was by far the cutest presentation I've had in my time on the board. Tonight we're discussing budget cuts, so I feel like it's pretty fitting. We have a very light thing to start the day, and if we can request having them at every board and town council meeting, I think all of us could really use it. So thank you again, thank you, and that's all I have.
Anybody else? Ms. Yanaway.
You said that there is a wait list for the program. I'm wondering if you could share with us how many people are on the wait list. And obviously, again, as Mr. Marks said, we are discussing budget cuts. But assuming money were no object, what would it take to clear out that wait list and be able to provide this wonderful program to any student in South Windsor who wanted to enroll?
That is a big question. In our second year going into our second year as a full-day program, I know that interest and demand exceeds our capacity. We're operating a 15-seat preschool, and we are, strive to provide a certain level of staffing and supervision for that program. Right now, I believe I have 28 total requests. I had closed the application just so that it didn't continue to grow any longer. So of 15, I probably have 13 people on a waiting list. And occasionally I'm finding, as I did today, that I had somebody who had accepted an offer who suddenly is relocating, so a seat has become available. If money were no object, and we wanted to clear that waiting list, I'd certainly need at least a second preschool classroom, but I'd also need a full-time certified educator to staff it, as well as paraeducator support for it. One of the obstacles that some parents voice to when wanting to enroll their child is the lack of before care and after care. If we really wanted to deliver a robust program that would satisfy all, we'd really be making a commitment to staffing much greater than we currently are. You're welcome.
I would imagine a lot of our issues is spacing. We need more space, right, Dr. Carter?
Yeah, the program itself is cost neutral because there is, families do pay a tuition. Our problem is space. We could open up a second classroom easily, and the tuition would offset the cost of the staffing, but unfortunately, that is not one of our options right now. We are running out of classrooms at the high school, not having extra ones. So if we were in a different situation, we probably would be opening up a second section.
Anybody else?
Oh, I would like to say that I really enjoyed the class. I took it in my first semester of school this year, and I think it was a great program. I think being able to interact with the preschoolers is really interesting, especially because I also take the UConn HDFS class, which is going through the lifespan. And I think going through early childhood in a way where you're interacting with the students is very immersive, and I think it's a great addition. And I also think the opportunities to do it outside of your class time is also really great as well, because they could always use the help.
That's a good point. Anybody else? Well, we appreciate all the work that you do, and thank you for coming and getting everybody together here. Thanks for all the work that you do. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Yes, and thank you, Mr. Albrecht, for all your hard work in putting this together. This took a lot of creativity and planning, and so we thank you, Mr. Albrecht. We appreciate it.
Great. Dr. Carter, do you want to just keep going down your list? Oh, sorry.
Thank you. At this time, I invite Principal Irwin to the podium to talk about our Thames Cricket Club.
Well, that is a hard act to follow. Thankfully, we have some shining stars at Timothy Edwards as well. So good evening, members of the Board of Education and our central office team. I'm so excited to be here recognizing some innovative students. Tonight, I'm proud to highlight their example of student initiative and engagement. As you know, enrollment's growing in Timothy Edwards Middle School, and one of our visions and our goals for students at the middle school level is to engage in activities and extracurriculars outside of the school day. Just this past season, as you know, I know Mr. Mackey had mentioned spring athletics, and we are nearing the end of our season now, but we have hundreds of students that try out for, a handful of spots. So we're always trying to find new ways to make sure that students could become engaged, because it just increases the sense of belonging. The students that I'm introducing tonight are outstanding examples of that spirit of engagement and leadership These are sixth graders who took the initiative to bring cricket intramurals to life, creating an opportunity that has generated enthusiasm and participation among peers. We are proud to recognize their creativity, leadership, and dedication in helping make TE a more inclusive and engaging community for our students. So right now, I'm going to ask that Mehan and Nimel come up to talk a little bit more. Mrs. Baker is also here, which we will reference. She is the adult staff advisor for the cricket intramurals. Ready?
Good evening. Good evening, board members of the Board of Education, administrators, teachers, and community members. My name is Mehan Shah, and I am here with Nemo Manikatan. We are here without our peer Vihan Firake, who couldn't make it tonight. We are here to talk about how we started the cricket club at Timothy Edwards Middle School, and we are here to share our experience also launching the club and how it feels to us and many other students.
When we first discussed launching a cricket club, we knew it would take a lot of dedication. Although cricket is one of the most popular sports globally, it's not widely known in our local schools. We wanted to change that by creating a space where students who already love the game feel represented, and where new students can discover something completely different and exciting.
The process of launching this club taught us a lot about leadership, communication, and persistence. First, we had to get student interest and provide the demand existent. We spoke with classmates, distributed interest forms to sign up and help out with the club, and we educated our peers on what cricket is and how they will enjoy it. From there, we navigated the official process of establishing a school club by meeting with administrators and securing a faculty advisor.
At times, the process was challenging because everything was completely new to us. We had to learn how to organize meetings, communicate professionally, and manage logistics like equipment, practice space, and safety. However, navigating those hurdles helped us grow. Instead of stepping back when things became difficult, we learned how to problem solve and collaborate effectively.
One of the most important things about the cricket club is a sense of belonging it creates. For many students, cricket is connected to family traditions, cultures, and memories from home. Having this club recognized by the school sends a message that all students and families need cultures at the school. We wanted cricket to come to the western side instead of it being always in the eastern side, and now we have gotten the chance to do this. This can create opportunities of students from different backgrounds to connect through sports and teamwork.
What has been especially meaningful is seeing students who may not normally participate in school activities become excited and involved in being athletic. Some students joined because they already play cricket. Others joined because they were curious and wanted to try something new. Either way, the club has helped students build friendship, confidence, and school spirit.
This experience has also shown us that student voices can make a difference. By supporting clubs like this, the district encourages students to take initiative, share their cultures, and become leaders in the school community.
We are very grateful to everybody who helped us throughout this process, including our advisors, teachers, administrators, and the Board of Education for supporting student opportunities and activities.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak tonight and for supporting programs that help students feel connected with us. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you all for having us.
Does anybody have any questions for them? Mrs. Shaw.
Hi, thank you for a great job presenting. If you were to just explain briefly what cricket is, because not everybody knows what the sport entails, how would you describe cricket?
Cricket is just like I wouldn't say baseball, but like it's like a I call it as a slab of wood and just a handle on it, and then you just usually for kids we use tennis balls, but in higher leagues you guys use like leather balls. So and then there's just like 3 sticks and then like two mini lines, and like that we call as a stump, which is placed on two ends of 22 yard feet, like a yard field. 22 yards.
Or meters.
Yeah. And then one person runs and not chucking it, like they just like throw it like this and try to get the other person to swing the bat but miss it and hit the stump out.
In all, cricket is a somewhat graceful sport. So, and many people around the world, as we have stated before in this, enjoy playing cricket, and it is also a tradition and part of many people's culture.
Mr. Caldwell.
I saw the photo that was up there. That's at TE, correct?
Yeah.
Is there actually a pitch at TE?
No.
I have to work on that. Thank you.
Anybody else? Do you know if cricket is being taught in PE? Is that something that a unit that would maybe be? Sorry, I don't mean to call you from the audience.
To be fair, we're learning cricket.
Yeah.
We're really trying, and the kids have been super awesome about teaching us how to play.
There you go.
Wrong button. Is that better? Sorry.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, so they have been teaching us how to play, and so we are learning. And there's a lot of like unique features to cricket that are different from the sports that we know.
Yeah.
So we are trying to get to know, and we have a couple of students on the team who are academy players.
Yeah.
There's an academy team, which we learned. So they're really teaching us. So I think once we become a little more comfortable, and we did realize like we need a big space. We've been kind of using the side field when kickball's going on. So we can't play in the soccer field because when baseball's playing. So we just need like and it requires a lot of room. Right, because a lot of kids are hitting the ball into the woods, and so we're figuring it out, but we're trying our best, and it's been fun. We've really had a great time learning, and they've been really teaching us, so no complaints. But
What I'm hearing is that you find ways to make it work.
yeah,
Which is always important. I find it fascinating. I mean, Glastonbury literally is doing the exact same thing. I teach middle school PE there,
Yeah.
and we had students come to us, and we have one of our PE teachers that doesn't know it and is learning it every day. So it's
and
growing.
we don't have the equipment. Lakith brought equipment one day, so we use chairs because the wickets they're like 3 posts, and then there are the little pieces on top. So we're gonna maybe see if we can get Mr. Gorick to build us a set, involve everybody, and see if we can make it happen and grow and teach it to the kids.
I would hope that we could find somewhere in the budget to find them the equipment to be able to do something like this, because it's only going to continue to grow.
Yeah,
And it can't
for
be
sure.
that expensive to get the equipment.
No,
to do
and
it, so.
we just have to kind of make it a priority too.
Yeah. Well, it's a priority for us because I think
Yeah.
it's important to do that. Kids doing it, advocating for themselves, and then going out there and getting teachers to do it. A lot of guts to the kids for getting someone to do that. So
Yes.
we appreciate it. Good
Yes.
job, boys. Anybody else?
Sorry, just a quick question. Sorry. I love cricket. I grew up watching cricket,
Okay.
and it's like football for me growing up. But just a quick question: if you do you allow parent volunteers who know the game to teach and maybe lead the club? Because I know locally there are groups that have teams and they play, and there is a pitch somewhere in Manchester, so I'm sure they have equipment. So if there were volunteers who were willing to come and conduct the
we're
class, would that
always
help if there was an interest?
Happy to have all the help we can get.
Great.
Yeah, it's been a big learning curve. It's different and it's interesting and it's fun. And I feel like we need to learn it better so we can give them a more positive experience. So all the help we can get. We're after school tomorrow till 4 at TE and Thursday. So
And I don't know if you said this, how many students are doing this right now?
we have 33 enrolled currently, which is a lot. We weren't sure how many to have. Less would be better because I think it would give them like more of an opportunity to play, which is what they want. So we're trying to juggle playing time with the amount of students that we have and keep it fair, and so.
Mr. Caldwell?
South Windsor does have a very large cricket population. They practice over at the Barton property, and they play on Sundays, so I mean, I know if the kids want to get out there and the parents, that maybe they can kind of meet each other and go from there, because it's a huge group. I believe there's 3, possibly 4 pitches there. But it's a gigantic field.
Well, we thank you and appreciate it. Good job, boys. Keep it up. Thank you. All right, Dr. Carter.
Yes, at this time, I turn things over to Ms. Jamerka.
Thank you, Dr. Carter. Good evening, Vice Chair Mackey and members of the board. Tonight, I would like to provide a brief update on our food services program and our continued partnership with Chartwell's Dining Services. Chartwell's remains a valued partner of South Windsor Public Schools and continues to support our students, staff, and families through both daily operations and school community engagement. Their team participates in wellness initiatives, school events, and student-focused programming that positively enhances the school experience. Operationally, the program continues to perform very well, serving approximately 50,000 meals each month across the district while maintaining a strong focus on nutritious, high-quality meals and efficient services. From a financial standpoint, we continue to prioritize maintaining a healthy food service fund balance to ensure the program remains self-sustaining. It is important to note that funds within the food service account can only be used for expenses directly related to the food service department, including equipment repairs, replacements, and operational needs. Under state guidelines, food service fund balances may not exceed 3 months of annual expenditures within a state-approved expenditure plan. Based on FY 2025 expenditures, South Windsor's allowable limit is approximately $853,000. Our current projected year-end balance this year is approximately $700,000, which remains well within the allowable threshold and does not require the district to submit a state expenditure plan. Current expenditure plans include utilizing a portion of these funds to support the replacement of aging and inoperable equipment within the high school kitchen. The district is currently evaluating equipment priorities, associated cost, and an implementation timeline for these upgrades. Overall, I remain very pleased with the strong partnership we have established with Chartwell's and appreciate their continued commitment to supporting the health, wellness, and nutritional needs of our students. This concludes my portion of the report, and now I'd like to turn the next portion of the presentation over to our Director of Dining Services, Shenandoah White-Brown, and with her tonight is also Jamie Davies, who is our Area Director from Chartwell's. We will be transitioning to a PowerPoint presentation, and then we'll be happy to answer questions when the presentation is complete.
Good evening, Vice Chair Mackey and fellow board members. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Shenandoah White, and I am proud to serve as the Dining Service Director for South Windsor. I first joined the district in February 2022 as a bench dining service director with Chartwell's. At that time, I came here to learn and grow in school nutrition. After the 2022 school year, I took a chef manager role in Wethersfield. Now I am very happy to be back where it all started. I rejoined South Windsor in September 2025, and I am excited to continue serving this district and creating great food experience for our students and community. At Chartwell's K-12, our focus is simple. We feed students, support our team, and strengthen our community. Every meal is a chance to support student success. We know students do better when they are well-fed, energized, and excited about their meals. I did press the arrow.
That wasn't supposed to happen.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yes, thank you. So just this one. As I mentioned, Every meal we serve is about supporting student success, but none of this work happened without the people behind it. A strong food program starts with strong people. I am very proud of our team. Across 6 schools and the central office, we have 36 dedicated staff members who work hard every single day to serve our students and support our district. Chartwells believe in recognizing hard work, and tonight I am happy to share 2 promotions. First, Trudy was promoted from Sono Cook to lead at Pleasant Valley. Trudy shows strong leadership, dedication, teamwork every day. She makes a positive impact on her coworkers and students. I also want to recognize Angela, who was promoted from head cashier to head lead at the high school. Angela is reliable, professional, and very supportive of her team. She is a strong leader and a great part of our program. We are proud of both Trudy and Angela, and we look forward to seeing them continue to grow. During National School Lunch Week, our theme was Taste the World, Your School Lunch Passport. Students tried foods from different countries like Italy and Mexico. We also added fun activities like coloring page and word searches. Students enjoyed trying new foods and learning about other cultures. National School Lunch Breakfast Week 2026 was also a big success. We turned our cafeteria into a fun night-themed adventure. Students enjoy items like dragon egg sandwiches, French toast sticks, breakfast banana splits. The banana splits were so popular that students asked for them again, and we brought them back. We also continue to focus on fresh and healthy food every day. This year, we serve over 82,000 pounds of fresh fruits and vegetables from local and regional farms. This supports both students' health and local farmers. Students really enjoy our fun days, and this year we continue adding even more excitement to school meals. Some of our fun days include cheese pizza day, pancake day, spaghetti day, parfait day, vegetarian day, and cheeseburger day. These special menu days give students meals they look forward to and enjoy. We also ran several special campaigns throughout the year. From August through October, we featured our Dip Into Flavor campaign, offering popular sauce such as honey buffalo, Korean barbecue, sriracha honey mustard, and many more flavorful options. From November through February, we introduced Chili Days, Warm Bellies, which focus on warm, comforting meals during the cooler months. Middle school students can be challenging to engage, but sometimes simple ideas work best. In October, we brought back TE's corn chucking contest, and it was a big success. Students compete during lunch waves, along with staff and administrators. The cafeteria was full with energy, laughter, and cheering. Students compete for a corn-filled trophy with goodies and for bragging rights as the fastest chucker. Each round winners move on to the final competition, and we crowned a new champion this year. This event also helped us prepare nearly 3 bushels of corn quickly, which was served fresh the next day with no waste. It was a fun and successful event for everyone. In December 2025, we hosted a tasting event called Spice It Up at the middle school. Students tried different spice and flavors like cinnamon and pear crisp and cayenne and hot chocolate. It was a fun way to explore new tastes. In January 2026, we held another event called Plant Power at Pleasant Valley. Students tried a fruit pizza and learned about plant-based food and how they can support health and mood. Our dietitian, Julia, also shares monthly newsletter with schools and family. These include cafeteria updates, events, food facts, and easy recipes families can try at home. On May 1st, we celebrated School Lunch Hero Day. We decorated the cafeteria the night before so staff walk into a surprise celebration. It was a special day to recognize our cafeteria teams. These staff members work hard every day. They prepare meals, support students, and create a welcoming space. They do much more than serve meals. They make a difference in students' lives. We thank them for all they do every day. Oh, okay, sorry. This year, catering supports several district events like the Policelli Awards and Staff Appreciation Week, where we serve a special pretzel treat. Catering is about more than food. It's about connection. It brings students, families, and staff, and the community together. We support events like New Teachers Orientation, open houses, family nights, and district events. We also work with PTOs and schools to support celebration and school spirit event. We also serve visiting guests and partners, making sure they feel welcome and appreciated. When school needs help, we are there. Our goal is to support learning, connection, and support it and community through food and service. As I close tonight, I am very proud of what we have done this year and even more excited of what is ahead. Thank you to the board, district leaders, school staff, and our Troutwell team for your support. We cannot do this work alone. It takes a team. Together, we are not just serving meals. We are helping, supporting learning, building connections, and strengthening our community every day. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to continue working with you all.
All right, thank you. Anybody have any questions? Mr. Armstrong?
Yeah, maybe a dumb one, but how do you connect with local farmers? And how does the food get from those farmers to the schools?
I can certainly answer that. So we have our main produce supplier is Sardilli Produce right here in Hartford, and they have multiple partnerships across the state, New England and New York, with local farmers. So they purchase it and they handle the process, any required processing and distribution for us. We also partner with other local farms, Ciccarelli Farms in Northford, where they'll do a dedicated crop for us. So we'll tell them that we want X amount of certain produce grown that year, and then we'll purchase the entire crop.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Mr. Marks?
Well, thank you for the presentation and all of the work you do in our schools every day. I know last year, I believe it was last year, we increased our school lunch prices by, was it 25 cents? Are there any plans to do that this year as well, or is that, or next year?
We don't have plans to do that for next year. We're not anticipating that would come up. We'll revisit that again a year from now.
Okay, sounds good. Just want to make sure. Thank you.
Anybody else? I just will say that every week on Sundays, we look through what the kids are going to want, which days they can buy, and I am always blown away by the options and the choices that they have. Not to sound old, but compared to what we had, and I thought we had it good, but these things are, and the pictures on the website are very helpful. And I just think that when our kids, when I tell them there's certain foods, they get very excited about it and they're pumped about buying that. So I think that is, if some of you haven't looked at it, it's not just like old pasta. It's like fancy stuff that it's pretty impressive. So I just think you guys do a really, really great job. I do think on the school side of it, what we could do is use more of an educational aspect of trying to teach our kids, because sometimes I'll say to my son, what did you get? And he'll I got this, but he doesn't know that he can always get the fruit and stuff like that. That's on our end, nothing to do with you, but since the topic's being brought up, I thought it was important that maybe we can somehow work that in, because especially the younger grades and probably harder, but that's something I think we could do, but like I said, the lunches are really, really great, and, you know, we've been fortunate enough ourselves to taste it as well, so thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Of course. Good. All right. Moving on. Mr. Nettles, do you have a motion for us?
I do. In response to the town council's $682,162 reduction to the Board of Education's fiscal year 2027 proposed budget, move to approve the budget reductions as presented.
All right, there's a motion, do we have a second?
I think, I think it's written in the motion sheet incorrectly. It said 682, but it's 628, so I think those two numbers might have gotten transposed. So just so people are aware, the cut is $628,162.
Okay, so we don't have to read that again, we're good with that explanation? Okay. Did we have a second? I'm sorry. We have a second. All right, any discussion on this?
Mrs. Walsh is handing out to you a document that outlines my recommendations to the board, how we reach that $628,000 budget. As you are aware, the board proposed a $106,949,445 budget proposal, and the actual appropriation is the $106,321,283, representing a reduction in the requested appropriation, as I said, of $628,162. In front of you is a list of a proposal of how we meet that reduction. It comes into 4 categories. One area is shifting costs to parents and caregivers. So rather than removing programs or cutting programs, we're shifting the cost of those programs to the end user. The other category are staffing positions that you'll see right back again in 2028. We're deferring them another year. Another category is relying heavier on Medicaid funds to meet the needs of our 18 to 22-year-old program. And the final category is to reduce our healthcare account. Those are the 4 categories. I'll just go over them a little bit more specifically. When we're talking about shifting costs to parents and caregivers, we are talking about things such as there are a whole host of field trips that the board had in the past paid for families. Now we will need to ask families to contribute to make those field trips work. That would be a savings. I'm going to use approximations here, $56,000. Elementary Bike Week, we are looking to restructure that and deliver that differently. And by doing that differently and not only structuring it differently, but also the cost of the helmets and other costs associated with the program would shift to families, and that would be about $8,400. We're looking at shifting about $5,000 worth of middle school gifted and talented program field trips to families who participate. The middle school matinee fees will increase by $10, generating another $5,000. The high school athletics would have an increase for pay for play with an increase of $50 per sport, including caps, which would generate about $30,000. And then there's a whole bunch of high school activities that will need to increase the cost of families, such as the cost of dance tickets, honor cords at graduation, ninth grade T-shirts, different things that really fall under high school activities that will no longer be funded by the board's appropriation, and that would be approximately $14,000 from the appropriation. In deferring to FY 2028, these are the 2 positions that, as you know as a board, that when you increase the budget over the proposed budget, the superintendent's proposed budget, we included an elementary behavior specialist and at Eli Terry and a high school social studies teacher. Those positions are now back to being deferred to FY 28. You'll see them again. The transition program, as you know, has been on a search for a new home due to space constraints at our high school. and the funding for that move would come from Medicaid funds rather than the board's appropriation. And then we are reducing the healthcare account by $261,000 and $86, I should say. And I want to speak to that last one a little bit differently than the others. The others would be permanent cuts to our appropriation, and that those expenses would no longer be held by the board. The healthcare account reduction is a good segue into the news that we did get, great news, we did get some funding from the state that will help offset this. It's important to note, however, that the offset from the state is one-time money, and if we rely on it for just regular business, we're creating a funding cliff the following year. So we're always very careful whenever we have the ability to avoid a fiscal cliff, we do. So that offset will allow us to, the reduction from the board's appropriation into the healthcare account will now have a one-time deposit from state funding for a like amount of $261,086. The remaining funds from the state, of the total of $456,324, the remaining funds would be going to high school facilities planning, which again would be one-time costs that we need to incur in order to begin planning for the additional 350 children coming to the high school, and the space constraints and the changes that we may need to make to accommodate that. So while it's great news that we did receive that funding from the state, it doesn't completely mitigate the reduction we need to make, because we need to start making actual reductions to the appropriation and not just relying on one-time money only. So that's just a very high-level overview of how we reach the $628,162 reduction to the proposed appropriation. Happy to answer any questions.
I think I just want to make it known again, I'm just going to read that motion again with the new number if we can. So in the response to the town council's $628,162,000 reduction to the Board of Education's FY 2027 proposed budget, we move to approve the budget reductions as presented. So that we have that official number in there. So now we'll open it up to questions. Mr. Armstrong.
Sorry for a territorial question, but what's the impact on social studies at the high school not getting the additional position?
Well, the impact, as we've talked about in other meetings, is that eventually, and it's already happening, students get turned away from the electives and the choices that they want. So the first stage is that students are getting turned away, and that's already happening. The next stage is that you're not even offering the course at all. Eventually, if you don't have the right staffing levels in each of the content areas, what will happen is the graduation requirements become the priority, and the electives that students have and the choices that they have start to dwindle, because the limited staff that we have has to focus on just those things that are graduation requirements. So we're already feeling the effects of this, but it will be great news if next year we can get that position in, but it's not unique to social studies. We will start to see a reduction in opportunities for children if we don't staff the high school at the level it requires to maintain the kinds of programming that we've offered in the past.
And my worry is that this stuff this year is sort of around the fringes, you could call it, if we keep going down this path, and this is an obvious statement, it's going to start to hit the core. And I worry as early as next year that might be the case. But that's down the pike. But it's a great worry on my part.
Your concern is well-founded. This is something we've talked about at many meetings, and we're trying to forecast for the future. But that is obviously something that the high school will continue to collect stats on. The numbers of students, they collect this data about what kids ask for, how many were able to get their first choice, their second choice, and what courses will we need to discontinue to make room in a teacher schedule for more of just the straight graduation requirements. Electives are also a requirement, by the way. It's just that they'll have fewer choices amongst what they could select.
And for many upperclassmen, as we all know, it's oftentimes the electives that will turn kids on.
Absolutely.
And it's just unfortunate.
Thank you. Mr. Caldwell.
One of the things that we ask a lot of people that come up here to speak is that if money were no object. Well, we don't have that luxury. And I think Dr. Carter put together a good budget in the beginning, and that we agreed upon it. We even agreed to increase some of it. But I don't want to see any cuts. I don't like to see, I mean, I'm a taxpayer in town. I don't want to pay any more taxes than I already do, but, you know, reality is reality, and we're going to have to. But the first 5 items on this thing are approximately $100,000. They'll directly impact people in this town. It's almost like another tax in my world. So even though I know that we have to cut things, and some things are teachers, which are unfortunate with social studies and everything, this is a direct impact to people that will play a sport or be in a band or whatever they're going to do. And to me, that hurts. And I don't think that, unfortunately, the town council didn't agree on our budget. And I unfortunately, I think that I think is unfortunate, but, you know, it kind of bothers me that we have to do things like that, but I understand those are the things that we have to do. I mean, I remember, I'm an old person, so I remember when Pay for Play first came out, and it's like, what? And you know, everything has a cost to it, and I know certain sports are more expensive than others. And this is unfortunate that these are the steps that we have to take, even with the Medicare and Medicaid and the transitional programs and the teachers. You know, cuts stink. We don't do them because we enjoy them or like, oh, we want to make some extra money this year, so we'll cut something. And I'm going to say this, and I know people get nervous sometimes when I speak, but there used to be a superintendent that would ask for 20% if he needed 10. That's not the case with Dr. Carter. If she needs $1, she asks for $1. She doesn't ask for $2. She doesn't ask for $5. And unfortunately, you know, we put together what I thought, or what we thought, was a very good budget, and unfortunately, it did get cut. And it got cut a lot more than I thought it would. So with that, I'm just a little disappointed in that, and that's it.
Mr. Marks.
Well, thank you. I am also share a lot of your thoughts, and very disappointed that for the 3rd year in a row, and my 3rd year of me being on the board, we were in a position where we're having to make cuts to our schools. Thanks to what Mr. Caldwell said, the town council talked a lot about what they see as tax relief to our residents. Coming in at 3.9% is obviously great and in line with what we've had the past years, but that comes at the expense of families, and families are struggling from rising costs across the board, whether it's gas prices or healthcare, as we see affecting our own schools. So it's very disappointing, and we're basically erasing any tax relief that these families might experience. But I do have a couple questions about our budget reductions. The first being, what would be the % increase of the budget once we add in the $456,000 for next year?
So Chris could do that math, I'm guessing, but what I do want to make clear, though, is that that won't be the percentage increase. So sometimes we use the word budget and sometimes we use the word appropriation. So there is a spending plan that the board has every year, but our spending plan includes funds that aren't exclusively from the appropriation, which is the dollar amount that affects the South Windsor taxpayer. So the appropriation we get from the council is what drives taxes up or down. And then there are other monies, grants and things like these grants, that offset the budget, but they don't factor in to the appropriations percentage. So the percentage that we are officially increasing by over last year's appropriation is 7.53%. And that will be the base on which we will base next year's increase on. So the 456, it's great, but it's not part of the base that's the appropriation, that when you hear the numbers about next year's increase will be based on the 7.53. It won't be based on a different number because we had state funding that's one time and not part of the council's appropriation, if that makes sense. But we certainly could, I worry, because I've heard commentary that people are like, oh, but you got 456, so it's all set. And it's one-time money, it's not baked into the budget, it's not part of the appropriation. So you have to, people need to know that next year's ask will be based on the appropriation, not additional dollars.
Okay, all right. And I know hopefully that one-time funding will become more than one time, because I know the governor created a Blue Ribbon Commission on ECS funding. So hopefully, at some point in the next couple of years, we'll see increased funding across the board, which will help kind of solve some of these cliffs. For the elementary bike week, I've heard concerns from people that own walk-on wheelways, which help to coordinate this program, that we'd either be cutting it entirely or we'd be shifting it to being voluntary for students where they could stay after school and participate in the programming. I guess first, just the justification behind that, and then second that's kind of how we're shifting the structure, as you mentioned.
Sure. So the bike week is, rather than just cancel bike week as a cut and we just won't do it anymore, we thought we would try to restructure it next year, and we'll be piloting it. We don't know if it'll be successful or not, but anytime you try something new, you've got to see how it goes. And so by Wednesday afternoons, families are often looking for something for students to do on our early release Wednesdays. So it's our intention to work with our physical education department. All the PE teachers are aware of this and have had a conversation. To offer that to families on Wednesday afternoons, which may meet a need, just in terms of kids having activities to do, and then they would sign up and pay to be a part of it. So it's sort of like pay for play, if you would, but at the elementary level instead of at the high school athletics level. And that way, the students that are participating are students who want to be a part of it. It does have the added benefit, which is not financially motivated per se, but it does have the added benefit. It's often bike week, as great as it is, it's very disruptive to the elementary schedule. It requires PE teachers to be out of their buildings for extended periods of time while they go and help out bike week somewhere else. And this would mitigate that impact and have less disruption, and kids in their building who often, they love their PE teacher, and now they won't have a sub because their PE teacher has to be somewhere else because it's bike week. So we view this as not cutting bike week, but restructuring it and offering it to families in a different way. There is a cost. Up until now, the district has picked up the cost for the helmets, and the students keep their helmets. And there's also the cost of substitute teachers. So whenever a PE teacher's out of the building at another school, you now have to pay for a sub in that building so that students can still have PE even though their PE teacher's not there. So we're going to try this and see if it's successful. This, unfortunately, these are the kinds of conversations that we're going to be having, and to Mr. Armstrong's point, this is the kind of, we're going to be having more and more conversations like this. I agree with the characterization that this is you could call it a form of a tax. It is shifting the cost to the end user, which some would argue is helpful, say, for our seniors in town who aren't benefiting directly, that it shifts the cost to those families and kids that will experience these programs directly. But I do appreciate the comments that were made, because sometimes I think we think that there's only one group of taxpayer in town, and our families are taxpayers too, and they're stretched thin with all the costs of raising their children. So it's not just that our seniors are experiencing tax increases, our families are as well, and then you could argue this is another cost. However, I think what we'll need to do moving forward, not just in this proposal, but future proposals, is eventually we're just going to have to pass on costs, and then if eventually families decide that they can't or won't or don't want to contribute, then those programs may go away. But at least with this focus, what we're trying to do is save programs like Bike Week, but just offer it in a different way before we just completely eliminate a program.
Thank you. I think when you see numbers this low, as we do in most budgets, obviously families and students will be experiencing much greater than the numbers may show, but I'd love for people to go to the town council and see how much $5,000 would save the average taxpayer. If we were to add that back to the budget, my estimation is we're saving each taxpayer 5 or 10 cents at most, and that's probably pretty generous. So is $8,500 that we're cutting from this budget really worth 5 cents a taxpayer? And this is something that I experienced. That I went through this program when I was in 3rd or 4th grade, I believe, and I know it's something that it benefits both our students greatly and our community members and walking wheelways that really enjoy this program, as well as our PE teachers. But my next question is for the honor cords. How much are we charging per honor cord?
I believe it's $4, and just for clarification, because I know there was some misinformation that
Yeah.
may have circulated through various publications, none of these things are for profit. It's to cover the cost. So the honor cords, we were picking up the cost of the honor cords, and quite frankly, when I saw the size of the bill, I had a hard time defending that this is the taxpayer should be picking up such a large bill when families could pick it up for the $4 for each cord. But I think there might have been a misunderstanding that that's just to cover the costs. It's not generating profits or revenue for the district. It just means that no longer is the taxpayer going to pick that up. And in my estimation, because families are already paying for caps and gowns, it seemed reasonable to add the Honor Corps expense onto families in light of other things that we're trying to save and not cut, right?
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, I guess the honor cords too, my assumption is, because I saw there was some misinformation on Facebook and in other places, that people would be able to buy whatever honor cords they want. My assumption is that if a student has earned about an honor cord, that would give the family the option to buy the honor cord. It's not like everybody could buy like 15 honor cords and somehow we'd be making tens of thousands of dollars from this.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. For the behavioral specialist, we are keeping, I know there are 2 FTEs this year. We are keeping 1 FTE in the budget.
For the, there's a behavior specialist at TE?
Yeah,
Is that the one?
okay.
Yes, that is remaining in the budget.
Okay, all right. And then also for when you say rely on Medicaid funds, what exactly does that mean?
So Medicaid funds, and we felt that this was appropriate sourcing because of the nature of the transition program. There is a program where the district will take in funds based on services. So as our student, it's very time consuming and it requires a lot of paperwork, but we do get reimbursed partially for some of the services that students partake in. So we have to track all that, submit it, and then we will get back Medicaid funds back to the district. And since this program is one of our special education programs and many of those services are associated with special education, we thought Medicaid would make sense to be the source of funding for this. That's not, again, as you know, you've been very clear about it, relying on reserve funds, if you would, is not a long-term plan. Last year, to meet the 1.3 million cut, we relied heavily on reserves. Well, that's not a strategy that you can do year after year after year. This year, you're seeing a strategy of protecting programs, but asking families to pay for them if we want to keep them. Next year, that strategy may be stressed as far as it can, and then eventually you're just cutting programs. So we're on a trajectory towards that, but I do feel that based on the Medicaid funds that we can anticipate coming in, that we felt that that would be an appropriate way to manage that cost.
Yeah, thank you. And I think nobody on this board, and hopefully nobody in the council, wants to see our programs being cut eventually at some point in the future. When I was elected to the board, as is the case with all of the 8 members of the board, we were elected to move our schools forward. Unfortunately, we have not been. That has not been the case the past couple of years, and we're seeing consecutive years of cuts, which hopefully we will not see next year. Unfortunately, as we know, I fear that next year is an election year, which means, this might be worse next year, but hopefully the council will see the value in funding education fully, and hopefully we'll be able to get some more assistance from the state to be able to offset some of the costs in the budget. So thank you, and thank you to your team for everything you do. I know having to go through the budget and make these reductions is not easy. Having to tell teachers and principals that what you thought you might have been getting or what you requested you're not going to be able to get is not easy. So thank you for all the work you do, and hopefully a year from now we'll be in a much different position. Thank you.
Ms. Yanaway.
Yeah, I just want to echo everything that's already been said by my fellow board members. This is obviously not what any of us were hoping to see after the council's vote. It's deeply unfortunate and deeply disappointing that we are in this position. And I appreciate all of the very hard work you all made, or you all did to make these choices. I recognize that this is essentially making the best of a very bad situation, so thank you.
Can I just add one thing? We're talking a lot tonight about shifting costs to families, but please know that students that are eligible for free and reduced lunch or families that need financial assistance, we're still going to be doing those things. So we will never be in a situation where a child is not going because he or she can't afford the fee for the field trip. I mean, we're going to work with families on that. But, the reality is, if we don't get the funding from families, then we just don't do the programs. And that, to me, is another stage that we're not at yet. We're at this stage, at this point. I certainly share the points being made. Really, if ECS formula could change and benefit South Windsor to a greater degree than what it does now, that would be a game changer for us. So certainly paying attention to the state and what they're looking to do with ECS would be very important and could be potentially, good news for South Windsor. I appreciate Mr. Caldwell's comments about I don't ask for $1.20 if I only need $1, and that has been said by many fiscal conservatives in town, no less. And I just hope that people realize that when there's only, I think it was 10, when there's only 10 towns spending less per pupil than you, that, again, you've heard me say it many times, we don't have a spending problem, we have a funding problem, right? So we're not in a position when our per pupil is so low and compared to the rest of the state, that eventually you're as efficient as you can get, and then eventually it just comes down to a philosophical discussion about whether we can or cannot afford certain programs. And believe me, I don't take it lightly. I mean, taxes have a difficult impact on all kinds of families in our community, including our seniors. So we don't take that lightly, but I do think that there may be, I worry that people, despite us having said it, I don't know how many times we could have said it, we are trying to forecast this trajectory so that no one is surprised and caught off guard when they suddenly hear we're cutting programs that they can't believe that we're considering cutting. So we have sounded the alarm. I think we've done as much forecasting as we possibly can in every public arena. But eventually this trajectory will mean, short of if we get better state assistance to a significant degree, then that might really change this conversation.
Mrs. Shaw.
Yeah, no, thank you, Dr. Carter. I think you just answered one of my questions I had, that if there were families that weren't able to pay for the field trips, what we would do, because I could see that could create a conundrum in class as well, if there's some kids going to the field trip versus some kids are not going, how we figure that out. But I also want to thank you and your team for going back to the board, looking at things of how we can work with this budget cut. And even though I know this hurts for shifting costs to the parents and caregivers, but we're still staying away from cutting major programs that we're all afraid of that eventually may have to dip into, such as STEM and other programs that we all love. So I do appreciate what your team has done to try to avoid that just yet. So glass half full, we have that. So thank you.
Anybody else? All right, so there's a few things on here that I think is important for us to acknowledge. But one of the things, the sports stuff, Dr. Carter, I think sometimes people don't always understand where this money would go to. So they say, oh, you're upping it $50, whatever, thinking it goes to us somehow. Yeah, don't forget we have to pay for officials that get paid more. The buses may take more. All the extra costs when we go to different tournaments or our teams make the tournament, that could cost us certain money. Do you have any insight on or maybe I just summed it up enough, on we have to raise this not just because of things that we're doing, but the world is going up. And for us to be able to just continue to do what we're doing, it's going to cost more money.
Yes, the pay for play is, it's unfortunate. We don't want to charge people more for sports, but to your point, it's not like suddenly we're going to have a whole bunch of extra money. Pay for play just pays for a small fraction of the true cost of running a full athletics program. You mentioned transportation, a significant cost, but think about all the coaches and all the equipment and the uniforms. And so there's a lot, it's an expensive program to run a high school athletics program. So the pay for play is not suddenly, oh, sports is covered. It just offsets. It's an offset to the full cost. And we're just trying to offset it at a higher degree than what we were, say, a year ago.
And I think going to the bike week stuff, obviously, being a PE teacher, I understand that there is a lot that goes into that. And I wonder what the partnership could be. You know, we have the chairman of the Parks and Rec Commission, and what we could do to somehow partner with that, because I'm also thinking of the teacher that's away and helping another school. Does that mean my kid lost being with their PE teacher for the whole week? Or that one day, that 45 minutes or whatever it is, that they get because they had to leave? I'm assuming that's probably what happens. That's also not fair to everybody else. So I hear what you're saying, Mr. Marks, but I also don't know if there is a great solution to that. I wonder if there's some way that we can work with the Parks and Rec, because that is a subcommittee of them, I believe. So that they have, 5 rec supervisors, and somehow maybe we can work that in. That way the kids are still getting the bike week and learning all that, and somehow working it into our schools if we're still able to do that in the future. Like I said, I don't have a solution right now that probably works for everyone, but I do see both sides of that. And I think it's just like it's a difficult decision that we might have to make. What I might also say here might be unpopular as well. I think none of us would be here if we all weren't upset or any of those things about the reduction that the council made. But I also think we have to kind of, at some point, stop and step back and look at, like, we're playing a different game than we used to play, and there's different rules involved. And we have to make sure that, Dr. Carter said we're not at that stage yet. I would argue that we need to start planning for that stage now, for the future. We don't maybe have all the answers of what the future might bring, but we need to start preparing for making some of those cuts, like Mr. Armstrong said, whether it's now. Because as much as we want to say that next year it's not, there's going to be cuts. If it doesn't, I'll leave my post. It's just going to happen. So we need to stop pretending, and we can't become Washington where we're against the council and they're against. At some point, we have to all, decide that we're going to try to work together to find revenue and find ways to still keep our schools moving forward and not do this. Because when I look at this, $8,000, $5,000, this is nothing. I mean, it's not nothing, but it's nothing in the grand scheme of where we're going to have to go. At some point, we're going to have to make a decision of what programs are going to make it or not. And as much as all of us are going to say, we don't want it, we can't believe it's going to happen, let's start preparing for that now and have that conversation. And I think I can say this, is that I also know that the council and the board leaders are planning to have conversations sooner than later, that we can try to figure out a way that we can all work together to keep moving us in the right direction, but also keep our schools funded appropriately. Obviously, we would all love more. If there's nobody here that can understand that we need a more history teacher, more than Mr. Armstrong or any of these things. So I think it's just, we really need to kind of maybe turn the page on kind of some of the things that we've been doing and start to focus on, this isn't changing. We're not going to get to a point where we're going, oh, okay, we don't have to make any cuts. It's going to be like that for a while until we figure out how the town can bring in more money. And maybe that's not our decision. Maybe that is the council's decision, and hopefully they're working on those things. But I don't mean to come across as kind of frustrated with it, but I feel like I look at this and this isn't going to cut it. This isn't going to cut it in the future. And as much as we want to say, and next year we'll sit here and going, we hope the council doesn't make that cut. Well, they have a job to do as well. And luckily, and what we're lucky and our kids are lucky, is that we have an admin team that is actually willing to work with us and make decisions and not let things fall by the wayside or make inappropriate decisions. We have people that are making the right financial decisions. So I'm at least confident in the fact that we have the right people, the right players on the team. Wow, that sounds like Mr. Zimmerman, right? Making these sports jokes. But we have the right team in place. We just got to figure out, I think, how we can all kind of get in the right mindset of moving us in the right direction and stop thinking things are going to change, because they're not. They're just not going to change. And as we move forward, we really need to start thinking of that, I think, right away. That's that. Dr. Carter, would it be the right comment to say that if, once these things go into effect, any parents, the community members can contact the athletic director, the principal, if they have any specific questions, maybe go to their teachers if they have problems paying for something? What would be the right way? I know we're not going to leave anybody behind, but what in the community should they do? Like, who should they contact directly?
So I think it would depend on the situation. I'm not sure if there's a formal process for pay-for-play currently now, how a parent would be able, yeah.
So right now, specifically, if you're a parent who is on the free and reduced lunch program, or if you may need to apply for that in the future, there is a waiver form on that. There are several items that you can check that says it gives us the authority to then pass that information on to whoever that leader is of that program. So for example, that would be Mr. Satulik, who's our athletic coordinator, and he is eligible to get that information, and then he'll know that within any of the athletic programs that that would either be a free or reduced charge.
Okay. I think it's important, and as Mrs. Shaw said, like, no kid's going to get left off the team or not get to go on the field trip for any reason. That should not be a concern for anybody. But I think if any parent has a question or comment, they should be able to reach out to their principal or their classroom teacher or the athletic director, and they'll be able to at least point them in the right direction so they know who to contact. Before I end, I think it's very important that we acknowledge something very, very important. We have our very own budget queen, as Ms. Tremerka, whose birthday is today. And I think as we finalize and we hopefully turn the page on this year's budget, which is always a fun process, we thank you all for the work that you do and the principals that have tirelessly worked on this budget. But how you're spending your birthday, I couldn't think of a better way for you. But our gift to you is the process is really going to start in but just probably a few short weeks. So happy birthday from the board. But I do think it's important that as much as we go through all this, and we have to sometimes be the advocates that are going out there and fighting and talking with our people that we are our colleagues about it, but also you're the ones sitting in the office all day looking at the numbers and trying to figure out how you can present something to us without us going crazy about anything. So that might actually be harder than some of the job that we actually have to do. So as we hopefully can move on and start fully preparing, as I know Mr. Sanzo is starting to do the hiring, they've already been doing a lot of the hiring process. Now we can really move forward and prepare for another great school year, but happy birthday. And like I said, I think it's probably only a few weeks away till you'll start next year's budget all over again. So any other comments before we move on? Good? Oh, we need a vote. We need a vote, right. We had a motion, and did we have a second for that motion? We had a second. We had our discussion. All those in favor? You have to say something, guys. All those in favor? Aye? Okay. All those, are there any abstentions? Anything? No, we're good. Motion passes. Great. Good. Okay. We're moving on there. Mr. Marks, can you read the motion?
Yes, sir. Move to approve the fiscal year 2026 fourth budget status report as presented.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Do you have, Mr. Tremerka, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you again. Tonight, I am presenting the fourth budget status report of the year. Overall, the district remains aligned with our projected yearly expenditures. As is typical throughout the year, adjustments between budget accounts are necessary to ensure expenditures are properly aligned and all accounts remain balanced by year end. At this time, the district has identified we've identified $210,664 in unallocated balances across several budget categories. The primary budget pressure area continues to be special education. Current projections indicate special education expenses are exceeding the spending plan by approximately $220,000. Through careful monitoring and management of district-wide accounts, we are able to offset the majority of these costs using available unallocated balances. The remaining uncovered balance, approximately $9,000, will be addressed prior to year end as additional savings become available. Thus, the recommended transfer request of $210,664 to special education is as follows. $133,197 from program accounts, $49,952 from personnel accounts, $23,614 from benefits accounts, and $3,901 from supply accounts. These available balances are the result of a variety of factors, including vacancies, staff changes, leaves, lower than budgeted tuition reimbursements, and savings across district supply and program accounts. I also want to address the district's healthcare reserve balance. Historically, the district has maintained a self-funded healthcare reserve equal to approximately 25% of projected annual claims, which aligns with industry standards for maintaining claims volatility. However, the reserve currently represents approximately 20.5% of projected annual claims. As the fiscal year progresses, we anticipate that additional savings will continue to accumulate across the district's more than 2,000 budget accounts. Our recommendation is that any additional year-end unallocated funds first be used to address any remaining necessary account balances, such as the special education, with any excess funds directed back to the healthcare reserve account. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Does anybody have any questions? Mr. Marks.
Well, thank you. First of all, happy birthday. I do have a couple questions, but I will try to get them quickly so you can get home and enjoy the rest of your birthday. I feel like every single time we get one of these status reports, I can't stress enough how important it is we do not continue to rely on reserves. Obviously, that is not the case. But my first question is, I know, obviously, we're getting the state funding next year. I believe in this fiscal year, we are supposed to get about $230,000 from the state. Do we have any plan on how that will be used? Will that be discussed during our next meeting? And kind of what's the outlook on that?
So I believe you're referring to the DRIP money, which is the money that is going to be used for repairs of the building, maintenance of the buildings, that kind of thing. So right now, we're anticipating, as you know, one of the items, our item number 2, was cut from the capital budget this last Wednesday. As I said, we're moving forward with number 1 item, but not the second item, which was looking at the high school possibilities. So we will be talking about the needs of the high school in this upcoming year, or really not even just more frequently than that. We will be talking about them very soon, about some of the needs that we're going to have at the high school. And so we anticipate that depending on what those needs are and how quickly we need to do them, that we would likely allocate some of those monies there. Additionally, that money is allowed to be carried over year to year, so it isn't something that we need to absolutely allocate for this current year.
All right, thank you. And then my second and last question is, maybe this is a good time to talk about surplus funds and things like that. I heard a town councilor say at the meeting where they cut our budget that because we have a surplus at the end of the year, that either means we're not managing our fiscal house responsibly, apparently, or at the same time, that means in the future years, that means they should cut us by even more because we don't need those funds at the end of the year. So, Dr. Carter, if you may, if I can give you an opportunity, just explain why surplus funds are an example of our fiscal responsibility and why it's not a bad thing.
Right, and actually, this year, we anticipate the surplus funds to be the tightest that it's ever been in over a decade, if ever. So there, for those that don't like surplus funds, there won't be much this year, if that's helpful. But I spoke about this during the budget process, and I tried to keep it very simple, which is to say a surplus is a sign of fiscal restraint. Once the town provides the appropriation dollars, I can assure you that our teachers and principals would find a way to spend every last penny of those funds if we didn't create a culture of, if you don't need it, don't buy it, right? Don't buy magic markers, just because if you don't buy them, you might not get them next year. So now we've got a package of dried out markers because somebody was afraid that they would be accused of not needing those funds the following year. So when you have surplus left over, and a budget of $106 million, you can imagine with the number of leaves, just even on the personnel side, imagine the number of vacancies you may have that you weren't expecting that suddenly generated some additional funds. So it really is, I think, a tribute to our end users of the budget, our budget owners, our principals and curricular leaders, that they know that if they turn over funds, it won't result in a knee-jerk reaction of cutting their budget. It's, hey, thank you for being fiscally responsible. I'm glad you found a less expensive, I'll make it up, textbook, and now you've just generated $5,000 of funds. They don't run out and now they buy everybody a South Windsor High School sweatshirt. They use those funds to offset other needs in the district, and that's why the culture is set up so that at the building level, if they generate surplus, they know that it's going to help the district in moving forward. And so, there are plenty of school districts and plenty of municipalities and town sides where it is their culture. They know they better spend every penny they were given, or someone will think they don't need it. And we've tried to create a more transparent culture, which is, if you don't need it this year, we can use it. Like right now, our health reserve is not at the level it should be. So if someone were to generate $5,000 that they thought they were going to spend, but now they didn't, well, that's going to help fix the hole in the healthcare reserve. So, I think people sometimes forget that what 1% of a $106 million budget is. We're not coming in with 20% surpluses. These are very, very tiny percentages. And in fact, once we know the final numbers for this year, it will be a very small percentage of the budget that was actually, quote unquote, allowed for surplus, which I wish we were going to have a larger one because our healthcare reserve really could use it. But the cost this year did not allow us to really generate the types of surpluses that we've seen in the past.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the answer and all your expertise. And I hope people around the town and our leadership in town heard that every single time you explain it. And just to clarify, I didn't mean that question to be standoffish or aggressive to the town council. I think, as Mr. Mackey said before, it is important we form a partnership with them. I think this year I can vouch for the fact that there was more communication than there was the past couple of years going into the night where they cut our budget. We had a general idea of what they were cutting it. We didn't just go in and they're saying this is what's happening, or even worse, we're going to do it weeks beforehand to try to be not transparent about it. So again, thank you. That was not meant to be standoffish, and yeah, that's what I have to say. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on. New or unfinished business, Mr. Marks. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yep, that's true. We had a motion, we had a second, all in favor? Any opposed? I knew it was going to pass, that's why. Okay, sorry, Mr. Marks.
Thank you. I move to approve the adoption of The West, A New History as presented.
We just have a personnel report first?
Yeah, you do. I wrote right there. I missed it. Go ahead.
Good evening, Vice Chair Mackey and members of the board. I'll keep my personnel report brief. There are 5 resignations that I'm sharing with you that are included in your board packet.
I knew you were going to say that, too. So, where's Genevieve? All right, go ahead, Mr. Marks.
Third time, okay. Sorry to interrupt. I move to approve the adoption of the West, A New History textbook as presented.
We have a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes. Mrs. Shaw.
Pursuant to CGS Section 10-21F, the South Windsor Board of Education certifies that all food items offered for sale to students in the schools under its jurisdiction and not exempted from the Connecticut nutrition standards published by the Connecticut State Department of Education will comply with the Connecticut nutrition standards during the period of July 1, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. This certification shall include all food offered for sales to students separately from reimbursable meals at all times and from all sources, including but not limited to school stores, vending machines, school cafeterias, culinary programs, and any fundraising activities on school premises sponsored by the school or non-school organization and groups.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No, motion passes. Ms. Yanaway.
The South Windsor Board of Education will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut Nutrition Standard and beverages not listed in Section 10221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, providing that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food and beverage items are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regular scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. For example, soccer games, school plays, interscholastic debates are events, but soccer practices, play rehearsal, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be in the same place as the food and beverage sales.
We have a motion, we have our second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay, items D through I on the agenda are first reads, so no action is needed tonight, but we will discuss and vote on this at our next scheduled meeting. Does anybody have any committee reports? Seeing none. Hearing of visitors. Looks as though there's nobody here. Do I have to read this even though there's nobody in the room? No. Okay. Any items for future agenda? No. Can I have a motion to be adjourned? Have a great night, South Windsor. We'll see you next time.